Greetings, gainers. I am the internet's mythical strength, and per request, I'm going to show you the meal I make every night when I'm trying to go into some sort of mass gaining phase. Remember, I'm a lower carb type of individual. That's what I prefer to eat. So as I make this, I'm going to talk about alternatives you can use if you wanted to go with a little bit of a higher carb intake. The goal here is to show you how to make a lot of food in a short order and how to eat it quickly. This will take a little bit longer than usual because I'm going to be narrating as I go, but I am going to still try to make it in about the same order as before and demonstrate the value of multitasking while you cook. First thing you want to do is prep the battle space. So I've got everything here laid out that I'm going to need to make this meal. I'll walk through what some of this stuff is just so that while I'm using it, you can understand. This is grass-fed, organic, cottage cheese, low fat. This is all natural peanut butter. This is a local apple butter. The ingredients are just apples and spices. This is ketogenic bread. These are liquid egg whites. This is almond and coconut milk. I usually prefer cashew milk, but my store was out of it. This is sugar-free ketchup, organic, unsweetened, etc. This is Walden Farms 0-calorie chocolate sauce. This is ground beef, already cooked, that I'm going to be using with these 2 organic free-range eggs. And then something I forgot is Nuts and More peanut butter and almond spread. I'm using brand names here. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I just really like their products. And before I go any further, just something kind of cool I want to show off is this is my breakfast for tomorrow. I've already made it. I've talked about it before. It's 2 whole eggs, 1 egg white, half an avocado, 2.5 ounces of some sort of red meat, and fat-free cheese, and some butter. All right, so here's what we're going to do for multitasking. I've got this Dash electric cooking skillet I've talked about in a previous post here. It's about an 8-inch skillet. I'm going to plug it in first thing. While that's warming up, I'm going to take the almond and coconut milk, pour it into the coffee mug. I'm going to make a sort of pseudo hot chocolate out of it. Put it in the microwave. Put it on there for 2 minutes. While that's cooking, I take the eggs, crack them into the bowl. Take a liquid egg white, pour about 1 egg white's worth of egg white. I'm going to put it on a food scale, which I know I talk about how I don't really weigh my food, but with beef I do try to limit my intake just because I'm prone to eating a lot of it. And so this way I make sure that throughout the day I get 4 ounces of a good beef source. So I'm measuring out 1.75 here. And you can still see you can quickly do this. There we go. And then we'll mix all that together. All right, while that's going on, I'm going to take a plate that I have, take my bread, put it on the plate. And something else I forgot to show off, celery sticks. I'm going to take 3 of those. Because they are the perfect vehicle for Nuts and More. Take the knife that I have. Spread a healthy dollop on one celery stalk. And so while I'm doing this, the cashew milk just finished and my skillet has finished heating up. So that's great. I'm going to take the milk out of the microwave, let that cool off, open up the skillet. I'm going to use this spray avocado oil cooking spray, spray it on there, then dump out what we made with eggs. Close the skillet. When the light shuts off, the skillet is ready. While this is going on, I can keep working on my celery sticks. I do want to point out I'm wearing my workout clothes because this is real and I just finished training and I was too lazy to change into something better for you guys. Alright. One more celery stick. So we keep track at home. We've got 2 eggs, 1 egg white, 1.75 ounces of beef, 3 celery stalks with peanut butter or nuts and more on them, and now the peanut butter on the toast, on the bread. I do sometimes do toast with this, but I've been kind of in a sandwich sort of mood. And then the apple butter. And so you're wondering, if you're low carb, why are you using apple butter? And so this is something I refer to as food lubricants, which will be helpful when it comes time to eat all this later, because some of you struggle with eating quickly. Eating just peanut butter on bread can get a little sticky, but putting some sort of jelly substance on there will go a long way. And since this is unsweetened apple butter, it's 10 calories per serving. And if you're in a gaining phase, you can absolutely afford 10 calories. All right, while my eggs are still cooking, I'm going to take the sugar-free, no-calorie chocolate syrup and put it in the milk. Mix it up with the fork that I used for the eggs. And so you can see right there, I'm still keeping things kind of lean. If you want more calories, use whole milk, use real chocolate syrup. There's lots of options there. I primarily use the cashew milk or the coconut almond milk just to get a different variety of fats in this meal. And I actually have enough time that I can clean up a little while that egg mixture is cooking. Oh, that does remind me, one other thing I forgot to introduce that we'll be adding is half of an avocado to my cottage cheese and egg mixture. I have this little cool plastic container that stores avocados because I go through so many of them that I always need to have them ready to go. I'm going to clean up. I'll be off camera. Because again, this is live and I'm doing it for real because this is what I'm actually eating tonight. I also do want to comment that I'm doing all this in one shot with minimal editing because I just frankly don't have time for that. All I'm waiting for is that light to shut off on the dash skillet because that lets me know that it has finished cooking. All right, perfect. Open it up, eggs are cooked. I'll put the eggs in the exact same bowl that I did all the mixing in. Unplug the skillet because otherwise it's going to keep cooking. Clean it up quickly with a paper towel. All right, I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of cottage cheese. Half an avocado. And then some ketchup. And again, the ketchup, it acts like a food lubricant. It's going to cool down these really hot eggs, and it's going to make the food slide into my throat a little bit easier. And realistically, what you're looking at is a deconstructed cheeseburger anyways. It's got beef, cheese, avocado, which as a Californian, that's the only way to get a cheeseburger. And so a little bit of ketchup actually suits it pretty well. I'm going to cut up the avocado. And so all the meals are made now. I'm going to take you to my table. There will be an edit there because you don't need to watch the journey there. And then we will eat the meal. All right. Welcome to Dining with Mythical Strength. So again, some of you struggle with eating quickly. Well, I'm going to eat this meal in front of you and show you what eating quickly looks like. I'm not going to be talking because then I'll choke. I'm going to start off by adding a little bit of salt to that egg mixture. I actually have a pretty bland palate. I don't tend to salt my food, and I ended up crashing my blood pressure by doing that. So now I make a conscious effort to salt my food. But it also makes it more palatable, and so you'll eat it quicker. All right, start the timer. Here goes the meal. If things are hot, I'm going to move on to cold things until they are cool enough to eat again. It's kind of basic eating strategy. Starting with the eggs. The bowl's pretty much empty.
You know what? I think I'll take my time with the chocolate milk, just because it's warm, and it gives us time to talk about this meal. I'm kind of rushed at the beginning, but I make this every night. Why do I make it? It's a high-fat, pretty high-protein meal. And what was happening was I was having issues sleeping at night. I'd gotten really lean, dropped a lot of my fats, and just would wake up about every hour or so. And so I figured I was waking up hungry, so I made a meal that was satiating. And so that's fats, because they take a while to digest. Along with that, the cottage cheese, it's got slow digesting protein in it. I mix it with eggs just to add a little bit more fat to it, add a little bit more protein to it. The nuts and more, I like it just because it adds a little bit of variety to the fats. That I'm not just killing myself with peanut butter the whole time. There's peanut-based ones, there's almond-based ones, and they have protein powder mixture put into it, so it ups the protein macros a little bit. The carbs are a little bit lower just because they use an artificial sweetener. For the bread, I alternate between almond butter and peanut butter. I actually like almond butter a lot more, but I find if I eat it too many days in a row, it upsets my stomach. You get older, you just kind of develop weird food sensitivities. The cashew milk that I talked about, right now it's coconut almond milk, but in general, just yet another way to get a different variety of fats into the diet. Same with the avocado. Really, it's just that instead of just having one fat source and just spamming the hell out of it, like you olive oil drinkers out there or guys that live off peanut butter, I do want to have a variety in there because different fats do different things. Monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated, saturated fats, they all have a sort of a different impact. And if you're just eating one, you're missing out on the benefits of the other. The meal has evolved a little bit over time. I just kind of keep adding to it, and you can see where there's avenues to add to it. I have 3 celery stalks. I could have easily started with 1, then 2, then 3. I can add a 4th if I wanted to. I can put more nuts and more per stalk. I can have a second slice of bread. I can add more beef to the eggs. I can add another egg. It's incredibly modular. It really just allows me an opportunity to eat whatever I need. Also worth noting, I bring this up just because it upsets a lot of people, and I kind of think that's funny. It's about 8 o'clock right now. I get up to train at 0300. I'm probably going to get to bed in about an hour or two. So it's nice to have a big meal like that before I go to bed, and then that meal I showed you that I'm going to have as soon as I wake up, just so that I'm not training too incredibly fasted. You know, it's just kind of basic. If you want to get bigger, you do need to eat. Fasting's not really going to be incredibly helpful in that regard unless you can eat a lot in that window. And I really just don't like that feeling of having a lot of food mass in my gut. So I have my big meals at the very beginning of the day and the end of the day, and then throughout the middle of the day, it's a little bit more lighter cuisine. But there you go. That's the meal I make every night. That's how I make it. You can see that I actually had enough time in the middle of making it to start cleaning up. So when you get skilled at it, you can make a bunch of food and still have a clean kitchen, which is big for me. And then if you learn how to make effective use of food lubricants, so food gets in your body faster, it doesn't cause you to choke, goes down smooth, it tastes good, then you stand a fair chance of actually being able to get all that food in you and more as needed. As always, feel free to leave a message on the video or send me a comment on my blog or however you want to reach out to me, but hopefully this helped.